Alright, so Nethril, one of the coolest vampire-looking champions, and a lot of people are ranking this guy as an S tier legendary. So today I want to cover some of his abilities and what he can really do. So let's really quickly showcase it, and then we can go in how you want to build him, if this guy is really worth it, and what you can really do with him. So essentially, Nethril is a control champion, which if built right, if utilized right, can be one of the best champions in the game. So as you can see, I mean, the A1 just attacks one enemy 3 times, nothing crazy. The A2 here is very good, so attacks all enemies, and there's a 50% chance of a stun, which is amazing for control. And there's also this attacks all enemies, decreases the turn meter by 75%, which is absolutely insane. So let me really quickly show you one of these abilities, and then we'll get into the actual character. So as you can see, stunned one, unfortunately, killed some, but still did quite a bit of damage. So let's get into it. Real quick, if you guys are new to the game or if you recently started playing, I'd urge you to click the link in the description or scan the QR code you can see on the screen because you will get the best start possible right now. You will get Zergala as soon as you complete tutorial, so pretty decent champion. You will get Ugo at level 15, and then you'll get like a whole package worth $60, so it's much better than just starting without anything. However, best of all, if you're a new player, you can go into the promo codes here. You can type in something like Monkey King, so you're going to get Sun Wukong, which is an amazing champion that's gonna carry you through everything. Or if you don't like Sun Wukong, you can type in Supreme 6 to get Supreme Galak. Also, if you guys are in need of a clan, we're still recruiting right now, the Arena Syndicate TS4A. So let's talk about Nethril. Now, on first glance, he actually looks super cool. Like, this is like a vampire-like champion. In fact, he actually reminds me of one of those guys from The Witcher, Blood and Wine. So that is one of the main reasons I actually built him. But then I looked into him, and then I realized that this guy is actually an S tier. Hellcades ranks him as 4 out of 5. IMLove.net ranks him as an S tier legendary, and really, he is probably one of the best control champions currently in the game. Now, despite the fact that he does look super cool, he does look a little bit outdated with some of the pixels, but nonetheless a pretty cool look, like an undead look, and this is one of the best champions you can get for the undead as well. So as you guys have already seen, and one of the issues, honestly, is that he doesn't have an aura, which is a little bit weird, that he doesn't have an aura as a legendary that is pretty popular and powerful. However, essentially, this guy is a control, so he can be used for things like the Spider Dungeon, which is very good when you got a lot of those mobs, because you can stun him, you can decrease the turn meter. People are ranking him as pretty good for the Nether Spider in Doom Tower, but unfortunately, I don't think he's that great for it because it's not 100% stun, so there's like a 50% chance that you can stun them, and there's a 50% chance you can piss them off and wipe out your team, so kind of depends on what else you got going on. He can synergize with others, but I wouldn't say he's like your #1 solution for the Nether Spider, which is honestly one of the most annoying bosses in the game. So let's take a quick look at his abilities. So Blood Harvest level 1. Attacks all enemies, attacks one enemy 3 times. There's a 30% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So pretty good. Single target damage, attacks one enemy 3 times. There is a poison, so this does work pretty decently. Now, this ability here is really one of the main ones, but also the other one. Attacks all enemies, there's a 50% chance of placing a stun on all enemies for 1 turn. Places a 30% decreased debuff for 2 turns if the target is not under a stun debuff. So, essentially, unless if he doesn't stun, he's still going to do something. He's going to decrease speed, which can be pretty useful. This can also be pretty useful in PvP. So this is an excellent thing that you can do if you buff up him with the, if you buff him up with the books, there's going to be a higher chance, so this can matter a lot. And you can also lower the cooldown, which is not amazing. 5 turns, okay, but pretty, you know, 4 turns is already much better. So the last ability, and this is a pretty good one. I mean, attacks all enemies, decreases the turn meter by 75%. So essentially, this is like a guaranteed decreased turn meter, which for PvP can be amazing. This is on 5 turns, but if you lower him, if you lower the, if you get the books, it's going to be on 4 turns. Pretty good. I mean, this can essentially, you're essentially getting a free turn, so this can be pretty good. Now, this is not one of those characters that you get and he's going to like solo bosses or solo things. This is sort of similar to this guy, Deacon Armstrong. He's really strong when you synergize him right. This can also work very well for your faction wars. Now, as you can see here, I've maxed out all the books. Unfortunately, you can't see everything here because of my camera, but I went with Giant Slayer here to get all the books. So this is just like a cookie cutter, you know, Hellcade's masteries that I got for him, which does serve him pretty well. I think I didn't manage to get a relic, unfortunately, but I did build him in a super budget build, which I wouldn't say is the best build, honestly. I mean, it kind of depends on what you got going on, but there's really, like, this champion is not like crazy versatile. You can't really go, you know, three ways with it. I mean, essentially he's a control champion, so he decreases the turn meter, he stuns people, and he does a few other things. So you can kind of go with him, but really, two main stats you want to be building is accuracy and speed. Like, this is pretty much just like with Deacon Armstrong. Like, if this guy is here to lower the turn meter, to stun everyone, to do control, you want him to do as many turns as possible. So really, you want to focus as much as possible on speed and accuracy. Now, my speed here is absolutely garbage. Accuracy is pretty good. Speed is pretty bad because I just use perception gear, which increases it, but it's probably not the ideal gear. I mean, generally here you could just use speed gear. You can use perception depending on the actual stats, but you can also use the divine speed that gives the shield, but it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, ideally you want like speed boots. Unfortunately, these are definitely not speed boots, so don't have the speed stats. You probably want over 200 speed on this guy, especially if you guys are planning to use him for PvP. You want as much speed as possible. Like, damage doesn't really matter. I mean, this guy can do pretty decent damage, but this guy is not really a damager. I mean, he has a poison and he has this, but essentially you want to get him to constantly either use this or this. So he's gonna either decrease the turn meter, stun, or decrease speed. So this can be pretty good. Now, unfortunately, well, speed is honestly the most important ability, actual stat. But the problem with this guy is he's pretty expensive. I mean, this is a legendary character, and you really, I really don't like champions like these that you really need to book. Like, he's so much weaker if you don't book him. Like, for example, if you guys know about Geomancer here, like, this is also one of the champions that you need to book because it's absolutely crazy. Like, it's almost a different champion when he has this on 5 turns and 3 turns. So with this guy, I mean, ideally you want cooldown on this as well, because you're going to have 4 turns. Other than this, I mean, he can be useful, but not exactly amazing. He's gonna have these 2 abilities, and then he's gonna do like an A1 for the next 3 turns, which really doesn't do all that much. So ideally, you really wanna book him, which is a little bit of a problem because this is a legendary champion, so books are going to cost you a lot. And as you can see here, we got like 13 levels, so yeah, 13 legendary books is definitely going to be quite a bit of a problem. Now, other than this, as I said, you can also try lifesteal gear on him. That can work well, but ideally, you really just want to focus on accuracy and speed. You can get some crit rate just to his abilities, have a better chance to do something, but ideally, you really just want accuracy and speed. The perception gear is a decent budget option. I mean, essentially everyone can create the perception gear if you're playing this. As you can see here, I got like 800 in the forge here. Let me see perception. Well, I can only create one because at least I created, there was a clan war, so essentially I built like 20 of these pieces. But as you can see here, 4 to 5 stars, which is pretty good. I mean, you can create like a ton of this stuff, so that can work. But ideally, yeah, I'd get more speed on him. Ideally, you want some items that have a bit more speed. Accuracy is super important because if you don't have accuracy for this guy, he's essentially useless. He can't stun anyone. He can't decrease the turn meter if they just resist. So you really need accuracy. But other than this, I mean, it's not crazy stats. Like, this is a pretty cookie cutter build, you know, speed, accuracy. This is essentially what you would do with every other champion that is a control champion. Now, people have been saying that he's pretty good. Well, he's amazing for most dungeons, especially waves. He can really help you out a lot. Personally, I don't find him that useful for the Nether Spider because I've actually had a little bit more success here with Tranda, that also has a 70% chance of a stun to stun the spiders, because this guy, I mean, unless you get the crit rate, but the stun kind of depends on your gear. So sometimes he doesn't stun everyone, he just pisses off the spiders, they just debuff you, and then essentially you're gone. So I would use him as for a lot of the dungeons, like the actual spider. Now, other than this, this guy is also amazing for a whole lot of things that you can do, especially PvP. Now, so, as I said, I mean, pretty cookie cutter build. As I said, AOME Love is ranking him as an S tier champion. I wouldn't say he's an S tier, probably an A tier. Like, the rankings are really weird in a lot of the champions. I would really say 4 out of 5 does make it right for him. He does look super cool. He's a vampire and everything. But like I had some champions which are absolutely amazing that the rank is like B tier, while some guys that are S tier, I don't find them all that amazing. Although keep in mind, this is not the most optimal build. Like there is so many things more that you can do with this guy. So other than this, if you guys are new to the game or if you recently started playing, I'd urge you to create a new account with my link in the description or the QR code you can see on the screen. So you will get Zergala as soon as you complete tutorial, which is pretty decent champion. You will get Ugo at level 15, and then you'll get a whole package worth like $60. But best of all, if you're a new player, you can go into the promo codes here. You can type in something like Monkey King to get the Son of Wukong, which is one of the best champions in the game. Or you can also use Supreme 6 to get the Supreme Gallic, which is also going to be an amazing start. Other than this, if you guys are in need of a clan, the Arena Syndicate, TS48, we're still recruiting. We still got 5 more spots left. So if you guys got 50,000 power, I'd urge you to join my clan so we can play together. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.